The calls for other options to the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines to be available to St. Kitts and Nevis are growing. That call was first made by leader of the Nevis Reformation Party, Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, in an interview with SK Newsline. Since then, others have also suggested that more persons may be inclined to become vaccinated if they have more options other than the AstraZeneca vaccine, which has come under scrutiny in some countries recently. Former Chief Medical Officer Dr. Patrick Martin suggested that the government may need to look at other vaccine options which may encourage other persons to become vaccinated.
The AstraZeneca vaccine is being restricted in some areas. Persons under 30 are being advised to use something else. Not that it has been stopped, but people are being advised to use something else. Suspect that we will follow the same advice. So that will lead persons 18 to 30 without AstraZeneca and awaiting the arrival of another vaccine.
But Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws has repeatedly said that due to logistical reasons, it would be difficult to use the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines that are being widely used in the U.S.
It would be a logistical nightmare because you would have to store the Pfizer-BioNTech at negative 80 degrees. You'll have to thaw it and then take it to the health centers, and you have a very short window within which to use the amount that is thawed. So it would be a logistical nightmare in terms of using either the Pfizer-BioNTech or the Moderna.
Dr. Martin believes this can be rectified.
If and when push comes to shove, the infrastructure will have to be put in place. Perhaps Pfizer and Moderna will come up with a technology that their vaccines will not require minus 70 degrees centigrade storage, perhaps. So those are some of the variables. This is a fast moving pandemic, and so things change.
But speaking on a recent edition of his radio show, On the Mark, Premier Mark Brantley, in responding to a caller, pointed out that getting the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines in St. Kitts and Nevis is not that straightforward.
I engaged just yesterday with the representatives from Pfizer. And Pfizer is based for our purposes in Costa Rica, which handles the region, Latin America and the Caribbean. And they're telling me yesterday that any negotiations, now listen to me carefully, any negotiations to acquire Pfizer vaccines cannot commence until sometime in July. Any negotiations, I want to emphasize that again. So, notwithstanding they're having a call with you in April, they're telling you they can't really talk to you until July. And then when they talk to you, they have up to a 5-month window before they could actually deliver vaccines to you.
On another note, there is the Cuban vaccine. Former government minister Dwyer Astafan suggested that the Cuban vaccine might be more appeasing to people in St. Kitts and Nevis. He suggested that the government may need to look at acquiring these vaccines.
You have a number of people in St. Kitts and Nevis, for example, who will tell you that they are waiting maybe for the Cuban vaccine or something else. So if more people will take the Cuban vaccine, then try to get some of the Cuban vaccine. You know what I mean? There's not a monolithic approach to it, but appeal to people's reason and appeal to their intelligence that they will understand the thing in its fullness if you sit down and explain with them.
In a previous interview on Freedom 106.5 FM's Issues program, Chief of Staff at the Jennev Hospital, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, said the government would be open to acquiring any vaccine that is approved and effective. Most countries across the world have been acquiring and administering the AstraZeneca vaccines in a bid to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. But some countries in Europe and North America have either suspended the use of the vaccine altogether or limited their use only to persons over the age of 30 years. This is due to concerns that the vaccines may cause blood clots in a small and rare number of cases. The one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which was rolled out recently, was suspended in the U.S. due to similar concerns. Cuba has developed some 5 vaccines which are undergoing clinical trials. Vaccines administered to nurses in Havana have not produced any serious side effects, according to a report from CNN recently. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.